Good evening folks, and you're very welcome to the vlog. This evening sees me in one of my favourite parts of Ireland. I know I have a lot of them, but I'm up in Belfast obviously with the Titanic Building, Museum, whatever you want to call it there behind me. What a unique and recognisable structure it is. The truth is, I was planning to try and get to Ballintoy. I'm on my way elsewhere. I'm competing over there with a seagull that's been strangled at the moment. He's not doing too well, but he's making enough noise not doing it. Anyway, we'll push on. Poor fella. Anyway, I'll just show you a shot actually of the mountains just overlooking the western side of Belfast, and they are fairly ominous looking. So I didn't want to go up to Ballintoy and the North Antrim coast as I had planned to do, unless the weather was going to be good, because Ballintoy is an absolute banger of a location and I don't really want to show it if it's not going to be looking its best. Anyway, I'm here. I'm at this fantastic building. Very difficult to shoot. Each year I tend to come to Northern Ireland. This is my second time here this summer, 2021. And last year Darren and myself were up here, and we didn't find it easy either to try and get some shots. What I do tend to do is actually such beautiful kind of shapes and structures in it, is almost break it up and take different kind of, let's say, diagonals, corners, shapes, abstracts from it, and see how that goes. Tonight there's a very dark background to it, and so therefore the actual shine that's coming out on it there is, well, it looks well. So hopefully it'll look well in the camera. I'm going to get on with it. I hope it doesn't rain here. It's not due to rain, but then it's not due to be very sunny either. So hopefully in the minute we'll get to one or two other locations in the vicinity and just slightly outside of Belfast as well. So I hope you enjoy the vlog. I'll talk to you soon. Okay lads, once again I tried shooting it from different angles. Certainly not up close. It's not a possibility, because it's all elbows and wide angles, and 1635 I'd say you'd probably want a fisheye, and then of course what's going to happen is it's going to be all distorted. Two left legs it has, very awkward. So going to pick out some different patterns within the actual building itself. Now, to be very honest, it's after getting very dark. I think the rain is ominous. We'll be very lucky to avoid it here, and I'm really struggling with light. I've ISO pumped up at this stage. We are about maybe an hour and a half before sunset. Still in all, there should be a lot more light than there is now. Very dark. Again, trying to pick out different shapes within the actual building itself, darknesses, tones, etc. I'm using a 70-200 lens, shooting around 7.1 f7.1 and 1/60th, 1/50th of a second. I'm going to move positions here, lads. I'm going to move positions. Just walk around a bit. I'll switch you off for a while. Talk to you in a second, okay? Okay folks, as Freddie Mercury says, the show must go on irrespective of the weather. It's still raining here. I put on this Lisbon hat. I was asked recently, did I buy this in Lisbon? I said no, I bought it in Berlin. Anyway, moving on. Nobody likes a smart ass. Moving on, here we have the HMS Caroline. It's one of only 3 surviving naval ships from World War I in the UK. It survived the Battle of Jutland. I know all about it now because I just read the actual information about 2 minutes ago. But the one thing about it is the keel here, dead straight. I don't know why they didn't think about that when they were putting this information display in, because it really does make your shot all the more difficult, particularly if you're using a tripod. So what I have here, basically I'm just shooting, turn the hat the wrong way around, and I'm shooting it, trying to keep it very, I'm also trying to get the reflection in, lads. The water is quite calm here. It's off of the actual main port of Belfast, so it's not too bad, but it's calmer. It's very dark, as you can imagine. I'm just going to check and see how I'm doing. Pretty dark there. I'm shooting at 1/25 of a second at f8 ISO 100. I'm going to up the ISO to maybe 200. It's probably going to be a black and white shot at best anyway. And I'm right out at 16mm trying to get the very top of the mast and the very bottom of the reflection in, and that's in portrait. You won't need it in landscape, it's completely portrait. Again, I'm making my own tripod here, or at least steadying the actual camera. For variation, I'm going to just go in and take the upper section. I'm just moving slightly. The important thing, as I say, is to try and get that symmetry. It's fantastically narrow, and anybody who's been here knows what I'm saying. I'd prefer if there was an awful lot more light. Some excellent shots as well too in the blue hour, and other times to get it would be even later after the blue hour in darkness. It's quite a good shot. I'm not going to have time to hang around to do that now. That rain is clearing somewhat at the minute, but it is very, very, very impressive, and it's worth tripping. It's only about maybe 300 meters, 400 meters further out the port from the actual Titanic building itself, but it's worth the journey. If you've come to one, you'll have time to come to the other one. Okay. The minute I was walking back to the car, I had another look at the clouds and the gap that was in those clouds closer to the horizon, and just took a chance on waiting around to see would the sun peek through. Thankfully it did. It gave fantastic light, and I think, and I won't know until I get home really and look at them in the actual computer, laptop, etc. I think I got a few shots there. Fantastic low light coming in on the actual Titanic Museum itself, and yeah, pretty pleased with that, particularly after some of the shots I'd got earlier were so dull, lacking in light, etc. So pleased with that. You know, bit of luck, it's always needed. Okay folks, so I've arrived out at Carrickfergus, which is about maybe 8 or 9 miles out from Belfast itself, on the northern side of Belfast Harbour, on the way to Whitehead and on the way to Larne, and in fact the coastal road up to Cushendall and Cushendun and all these beautiful places. This is the road you'll pass. As you can see, I've got the castle here behind me. At this stage I'm hoping to try and get a blue hour shot of it. I was hoping to try and get I was hoping that it would be very smooth here, the water. It isn't. There are quite an amount of ripples, so the evening feels calm and quiet, but the sea isn't reflecting that. On top of that, as it gets darker, the lights on the castle should become more prominent. So in a while I'll get myself into position, get out my tripod, use probably a 1635, but I may use a 24-105. Unfortunately, the regular car park here for this particular castle has been infested by, and I'll show it to you now in just a second. Yes, as you can see, the amusements have arrived. Unfortunately, well, they're quiet now. The noise that was coming out of them a while ago, well, I was wondering would I be heard, and also I'm sure there's going to be a bit of a light bleed. They might even add later might try and take a shot or two of those, maybe a bit like Waterford and Cork and Christmas time. But anyway, enough said. So there's a bit of competition there. On the far side of the wall behind me there, or behind you should I say, is the actual Carrickfergus harbour, which is very beautiful. Were I here earlier, it seems to be a little smoother out there, the water, for whatever reason. Maybe they realised that I wasn't going to go shooting out there, I don't know. But anyway, the lovely old boats there. I'm not going to get an opportunity to shoot them now, obviously, on this trip. But, you know, a bit of still water, old trawlers, fishing boats, yachts, etc. Yeah, well, look, it's for another day. So now, that's my next shot, waiting for this to kind of sky to get darker and the actual lights and the castle to become more prominent, and hopefully I'll be able to get a shot then. Okay, talk to you in a while. Okay folks, good morning from Larne, and here we are at the chain tower. I'm talking quite low because it's it's before 5:30 in the morning, and I'm in a residential area. On the other side, or behind you at the moment, are lots of large houses with sea views, and behind me I have one of Ireland's most unique buildings. Imagine the round tower of Glendalough or the round tower of Ardmore, but it was put right out in the sea. Quite an impressive structure. I've been here many times before. I've never been here early morning. I was hoping for a sunrise. We're about 10 minutes before sunrise. Yep. And there was quite a bit of colour in the sky over here. I can see the ferry on its way in. tide is in as well, which is fantastic. Lovely reflections. So I will get out my tripod now. I might try and hand hold them, but it's still very dark at the moment. Get out my tripod and try and shoot this beautiful building. I'm really delighted that the tide is in. I hadn't checked it beforehand because it gives great reflections, and it's the sea is lovely and calm at the moment. Okay folks, since I was talking to you last, I had some light over here on the right hand side. I shot from the right, from the left, went down to the beach, something that I hadn't ever done before because I've been here several times, as I've mentioned earlier. Got some lovely reflections on the beach itself. Had the addition of having a ferry pass. For some it's a blot in the landscape, for me it was an extra dimension to the shots. I had got some shots prior to the ferry arriving. The colour seems to have drained somewhat from the sky over on the right hand side. The sun will start coming up in a while. We may get some decent shots. I may move to the side and get some strong side light on the actual tower itself. There isn't much leeway for that, to be perfectly honest, because I have the bay all around us. I love taking the actual dimensions and using the railings as lead-in lines. I don't know how long I spent on Photoshop getting rid of all the weeds. I don't know if you can see them or not, that are on the ground here. And sometimes I'm very fortunate somebody might actually come along and walk up to that door, and I use them for scale. So now, this is the end of the vlog. I'm going to show you some of the photographs that I took earlier, as well as the ferry incorporated in. That's where my next destination is. I'm heading down to that ferry to get it this morning because I'm heading on to do a series of vlogs in Scotland. I hope to spend the next 10 days, 2 weeks in Scotland, shooting the islands, the highlands, etc. If you like what you saw, please give me a like. It really helps develop the channel. If you aren't subscribed and you enjoyed what you saw, please do subscribe, hit the bell button, and you'll be notified of all the vlogs in the future. Let's hope the ones in Scotland are as exciting and interesting as I hope they'll be. Talk to you soon. Take care.